Witch hunting was a practice which gained popularity around the 15th century in which a group of people would hunt, convict, and punish people, predominantly women, for witchcraft. Arguably the most famous of these witch hunts were the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials took place in colonial Massachusetts from 1692 to 1693. Over 200 people were accused of witchcraft and 20 were executed, most of them often using the method of hanging. But before we can fully understand the Salem witch trials, we need to understand the origins of the paranoia and religious hysteria surrounding witchcraft that led to the practice of witch hunting. A notable document, the papal bull or decree Summis Disindurantes Affectibus, or desiring with the greatest ardor, issued by Pope Innocent VIII, 1484 to 1492, was a decree that issued a formal inquisition into the activities of witchcraft and declared practitioners of it as enemies of the Catholic Church. Early rulings like this further propagated concern of witches, causing an increase in witch hunts. Witchcraft at this time was known to be the use of magic or spells to contact and or summon the powers of Satan. Satanism at the time was a sin punishable by extreme torture or execution. People accused of witchcraft often never had real say in their innocence, as the accusations never had a basis in anything other than religious superstition. Now, with a basic understanding of the origins of witch hunting, we can return back to our main topic, the Salem witch trials. One of the most famous cases from the trials was the accusation and sadly eventual execution of Bridget Bishop. Born sometime between 1632 and 1637, Bishop was married 3 times in her lifetime and had no children. She was accused of more witchcraft than any other defendant in the trials. Partially because of her flamboyant lifestyle, she was known to drink, gossip, and gamble. During her time, these actions were considered very outlandish, especially for a woman, which caused her to be a main suspect for witchcraft charges. Her fashionable apparel was also considered a sign of the devil. On April 18, 1692, a warrant for her arrest was issued on the basis of witchcraft, including the murder of children, bewitching pigs, seducing men, and casting spells on townsfolk. At the courthouse, supposed victims of her spells proceeded to cry out and writhe in pain. When Bishop was asked how she felt about the people afflicted, she was not remorseful, pleading not guilty, as there was most likely nothing to feel remorseful for. Despite this, she was interrogated, found guilty, and sentenced to execution. Before she was executed, Bishop professed her innocence once more, but was nonetheless hanged. The Salem witch trials had begun. Over the following year, over 200 people would be accused of witchcraft in Salem, and 19 more people would be executed on the basis of superstitions with no basis in reality. Another significant figure in the Salem witch trials can be identified as Tituba, one of the first women to be accused of witchcraft in the Salem village. It is important to acknowledge that Tituba, who was an enslaved woman belonging to Samuel Parris, was of Native American descent, and the stories that she would bring with her would be used as evidence for her accusations of witchcraft. She was first accused by Elizabeth Parris, daughter of Samuel Parris, along with Abigail Williams, after a rumored telling of voodoo and stories from Tituba's life that was of God and nature. After her accusation and trial, she admitted to witchcraft after days of interrogation and solitary confinement away from other villagers. Tituba would later be accused again by 2 women and sent to court in Boston to testify in 1692. The Salem witch trials still have a lasting effect on American culture and media, despite this event taking place over 400 years ago. One of the most famous adaptations of this event can be accredited to Arthur Miller's The Crucible, which has become one of the most commonly read plays in high school literature and English classes. Miller faced criticism for his adaptation of the witch trials because many thought it was made to be an allegory to the social uprising of communism during the ways, and the method used by both the United States and other countries to shut down resistance groups that would have disabled the power of their governments. In addition, the site in which the Salem witch trials took place is one of the most popular tourist destinations in America during autumn, generating over $140 million in the year of 2020. The trials still eerily echo throughout our modern day criminal justice system and our society in general. Mass incarceration and wrongful accusations are very prevalent in the United States. Around 1,000 people every year are wrongfully accused of a crime that they did not do. Most of these wrongful accusations are placed upon minorities living in low-income areas, despite the overwhelming majority of homicides being committed by white individuals. Like the superstitions of women during the Salem witch trials, superstitions are put upon many minority groups, labeling them as violent or unintelligent because of their skin tone or economic status. If we begin to think of mass incarceration as a form of mass hysteria like the trials, it may become easier to realize the mistakes our country made in the past and continues to make as the criminal justice system decimates populations of minorities, just as the witch trials decimated the population of Salem.